As we start, friends, we finished with the announcements. I think let's just take a moment or two to become a bit quiet, to become a bit present before we move over into the worship. For many of us, and I do not think I'm wrong in saying this, for many of us, one of our most beautiful and our most holy moments when experiencing God, His goodness, His love, His grace, whatever it may be, is aligned with music. And a big determining factor of that is oftentimes our own openness to it. Are we open? Are we prepared? Are we willing to experience God in whichever way He comes to meet us? So the exercise we do is just a way in which I think we help ourselves to put aside some of the various worries and angst and things that happened throughout our past week or things that are yet to happen in the week to come, even if it's just for an hour on a Sunday. Really, really be present. So wherever you are, you can close your eyes if that helps you. Try and sit as comfortably as possible. Those of you that claim the couch, you are lucky. The others, not so lucky. That be life. And we start. Pleasure. And we start by focusing on our breathing. We breathe in and we breathe out. Breathe in and you breathe out. And as you breathe in, you really focus, you become aware of the way in which the air affects your body. The lungs expanding, the body getting bigger, filling up the chair you're sitting in a bit more. And you breathe out, and the opposite happens. Everything collapses, body gets smaller. In and out. And find your rhythm. In and out. When you feel comfortable, when you feel a bit more anchored, a bit more present, you can start letting your mind go towards the other people sitting around you. And if you want to, you can maybe look around. Who are they? What are they? Man, woman, something else. But the faces you see, what do you attach to those faces? If they are friends, what have you gone through with them? What have you told them? What have you shared with them? If they're strangers, what do you assume about them? What was your first impression when you saw them? And if you think about the people sitting here with you, maybe ask yourself, what have they gone through? What has been their traumas, their pains, their sorrows, their heartaches? What have been their joys, their celebrations? What has been the beauty that they've experienced, that they've seen? What does it mean to you to share this space with these people? Because the reality is we could have been sitting at home watching a sermon or message on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be. What do you feel when you know there's someone, a person, sitting next to you in this space? Maybe look around, what do you see here? Be it the lights that shine and the lights that do not shine. But when you walk through those doors, what were you expecting? If you've come here time after time after time, why do you keep on returning? What holds you in this space? What makes this space meaningful, worthwhile to you? If it's your first time here, what motivated you to come? When you realized earlier in the day or earlier in the week, there's going to be church on Sunday evening at 5, I am going to go. Why? As you're sitting there, does it ring true to say God is here? Are you willing to meet Him? Willing to taste Him, touch Him, see Him? Are you open to what He maybe desires to do, to impart into your life this evening? Have you maybe got a question you need answering? And voice that to God as you're sitting there on your own. So konkreet soos, Here, asseblief, openbaar hierdie vir my. My God, please, show me this, teach me this, touch me in this way. God knows the desires of our heart, but the reality is, friends, we may often be unaware thereof. So put it down. Be open for the good Lord to work in the mysterious yet magical way that He often does. Let's pray. Lord, as we are standing at the end of a week, at the end of a day, looking forward to another week to come with all the various challenges as well as victories that may lie ahead, we can only start with a word of thankfulness. Thank you that you have preserved us, protected us, remained present with us. Thank you that we also know you will continue to do that in the week to come. We also want to use this opportunity, Lord, as we reflect on the week past, to voice, to acknowledge the various spaces and places where what we did and what we said was not born out of love. Where we possibly allowed our frustration, our anger, our irritation to overcome us. Or where we said something that hurt. Where we did something that hurt. And we lay these things at your feet now, Lord. Give them over to you, because we know when we hand them over to you, you forgive us thereof. You wash us clean thereof. Because you remind us once again that the way in which you see us, the way in which you define us, are not according to these faults, but according to the grace, the love, and the holiness that's present within each and every one of us. That you see through the darkness to the light that shines. And we humbly ask that you help us in our own broken ways to make that light shine even brighter. You are good, you are our God. You love us, and we try our best to love you in return. So friends, as Chris quickly spoke, this evening is going to be a bit different. And I want us to start by quickly, again, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, wherever you may be sitting, and look back on your own life story, your own life journey, and see if you can go back to that time, that place, that experience where God touched your heart in a wonderful way. And remind yourself what that felt like. Remind yourself of the possible joy you experienced there, the possible peace, the possible contentment, the love, the grace. Was it in a worship? Was it in a sermon? Was it while you were reading on your own scripture and something just opened up, something just broke open, a piece of heaven touched the earth while you were there? And imagine, just imagine, if each and every second of every minute of every hour of every day that you go through is filled with that feeling. If the entirety of your life is defined by that constant experience of God's nearness, His closeness, His love. This evening we are going to be speaking on the work of the church. In other ways, or in other words, the ways in which we as communities of Christians, as a family of the faithful, try and share that which we have experienced in our own lives, those brief glimpses of heaven, share that with a world that needs it. I think it's easy that we do it out of a sense of guilt, out of a sense of compulsion, out of a sense that it's a prerequisite, where the actual reason why we do it is because that experience that we went through was so wonderful, was so magical, was so holy that we cannot stop ourselves. Kan nie onsself keer nie. It's like when you first enter into a relationship and it's just so amazing, you just want to share that with each and every person around you. It's the same thing, because it's the first experience of a true relationship with the good Father, with the good God. So we need to remind ourselves time after time after time why we do it, why I do it. Because God touched my heart in a way I can't explain or can't really truly understand. All I know is that is an experience I want to share with the world around me. Carmi, will you kick us off, please? Thank you very much. Yes, you can come to the front. I can hand you the mic if you're more comfortable sitting there. So the past June-July holiday, we had 2 outreaches, 10 Days of Hope and Lesotho, and Carmi, yes, the wireless one. Carmi went on 10 days and she is going to share something of her experience with us.
Can everybody hear me? Hi, everyone. Okay, where to start with 10 days? So Sybrand was the facilitator this year, but next year he's not going to be here anymore. So next year, when the time comes, I will let everybody know and I will encourage everyone to go, because it is an amazing experience, or it was an amazing experience for me. So it was... Okay, so it was Sybrand, Ulrich, Margriet and I that went there. Honestly, when Sybrand first told us about it, I had no idea what to expect. Then he told us a bit more about it, and I still didn't know what to expect. Then we got there, and I had no idea what's happening. And then 3 days later, I still had no idea what's happening. And I think, I think at that moment I was just like, okay, let go and let God. Because it's such a different environment from where I grew up or where I've ever been. So let me explain the layout to you. So the 10 Days of Hope is hosted by MES. So MES stands for Mold, Empower, Serve. They're an organization in Hillbrow. And I think there's one in Cape Town as well. And in PE, wow. Okay, so they are an organization that's basically, they bring hope to the heart of the city, or the center of the city. So in this case, in Johannesburg is where we went to Hillbrow. And it was, it's really crazy. We picked up Ulrich at, which station was it? Parktown Station. And we drove 3 blocks. And then we were in Hillbrow, and the buildings and the streets and the people just flipped like that. So we got there, and like I told you, I've never been in that environment. I was in a NG church. I was in Oranje Meisie School, and in my OT class now, we are also all girls. And I've always, color-wise, been in the majority, and there it was just flipped. And in my life, I've never walked into a building and felt so welcome by those people. They didn't know my name, they didn't know where I came from, and they just greeted me with open arms, and it was amazing. Okay, so where do we start? Okay, Maguinhas. Oh, if you don't come for the people, come for the Maguinhas. It is like vetkoek, but it's sweeter and it's amazing. And next year we're gonna try acha. And if the people who live there doesn't tell me it's skopo, I will try skopo. But we'll see. It's basically like sheep kop. Oh, and we tried kwasa as well. And it was so, okay. So there was this guy, Abraham, and he was the nicest guy. And he brought me kwasa because I like spicy food. And he said kwasa is like rice with Nigerian spice. I was like, oh, this sounds so cool. And when I opened the bakkie, I saw an unknown meat. And it was this part of the rooster. And I was like, just put it to the side and eat the rice. So that was very nice, but surprise. So how 10 Days of Hope works. It's 10 days. We go to Johannesburg, we go to Hillbrow, we stay with Mace, and there are different groups. So the student groups is what we were, and then there's the Joshuas. So Mace, they have a gap year opportunity for people who finish schools to be employed by Mace, and then they do outreaches throughout the year. And then there was New Direction, which was the dance group, and then there was All Stars. So All Stars are people that were Joshua's that come back for 10 days. So those are the groups, and then every day we had 3 outreaches, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. You could either be on the kids team, like Alrich and Magriet was, and then Sybrand and Ingrid was on the service team. So in the afternoon, we went to the kids. 400 kiddies, guys. They're a lot, but they are so lovely. And then in the mornings, we went on prayer walks or on open air. So that's basically where New Direction, the dance group, we go with them. They do a dance, like a flash mob, and then afterwards we go out to the people. And we don't go, do you know Jesus? We go, how was your day? How do you feel? Can I pray for you? So that's really a different experience than I thought it would be like, because, I thought you have to go to a person and ask if they know Jesus, because if they don't know Jesus, what do they have? And, it turns out most of them did know Jesus, and that was really amazing. And then in the evenings, we went on soup outreaches, or we had youth, which was also with the teenagers. And the soup outreaches, it was amazing. So I don't know who's been to Towers on Fridays. Okay, so we also give soup to the people, but we have to give it through the gates. And on 10 days, they call it room service. So we drive with a bakkie and a kombi, and we go to the bridge where the people are sleeping. And then we go to them and we give them soup. And they are so, so thankful and grateful. And, it's just amazing. And, there was a lot of great things that happened. A lot of things that I learned. Mostly from the kids. They're really wise, even though they don't know it. There was these 2 girls. Okay, so if you have white hair, they love your hair. I had to wash my hair every day. And there was no hot water, so it's a cold shower, so you're standing like that. But anyway, so I was in the Saluna, and these 2 girls were standing behind me, and they were talking. And the one girl was like, no, my mom calls me crazy. I'm not nice, whatever. And just as I was about to tell her, no, God loves you, you're amazing, her friend was like, no, don't listen to your mom. You're amazing. You're great. And I was just like, these 2 6-year-old girls, they haven't they're 6 years old and they're encouraging people. And I thought that if that is the future of this country and of this world, it's a future I want to be part of. So the kids was amazing. I've learned a lot from them. And then there was also dark times. I wasn't on that group, but one of the groups that went on a soup outreach, I don't know if they walked or if they drove past a dead security guard, and that's rough. But it's you get to know yourself in the darkness as well, because that's where you seek for God's light, I think. And the prayer walks is amazing, but there's this one guy, Tereshu, he leads the prayer walks, and then he's like, oh, okay, let's just stop here for a moment. You see this dentistry? It's actually a brothel. And then he just walks on, and then we're like, what? It's just normal there. So the prayer walks were amazing. The soup was amazing. The kids were amazing. And I think Gerhard said that if Jesus were alive, that's where he'd be, and I agree 100%. And another thing that one of the facilitators or one of the people at Mace said, she said, you don't have to, you get to. And that was amazing for me. Just that whole mindset. You don't have to serve the people around you. You get to. You don't have to love the people around you. You get to. And what a privilege that is. So, 10 Days of Hope was amazing, and I'm so looking forward to going back next year. So please come along, and then we'd love to hear your stories as well. It was very good. So please come.
Thank you, Karen. You can just, so Peter's going to speak about Lesotho next, but just quickly, who's been in our downtown after 10 at night? I think you get a different picture of our city when you do that. When all the busyness quietens down, most people find their homes wherever it may be, but maybe. And literally, it is a favor. Do yourself a favor. See if you can go, either drive or if you're brave enough, walk around downtown after 10 at night. See who comes out. See the loneliness. See the verlatenheid. It's easy for us to put on the table various arguments and various ideas as to why we must confine ourselves to our safe and comfortable spaces. But the reality is as simple as who were the people that Jesus Christ himself lived with in his days. It was the widow, the orphan, the exiled. And in our world today, who are those that are pushed to the side? Who are those that society does not deem acceptable, does not deem clean enough, does not deem rich enough, does not deem eloquent enough, does not deem worthy enough? And what often happens is something of what Karmi spoke to. When we go to these dark places, we realize the light's actually already shining there. And we do not go because we must. We go because we then get the privilege of finding, experiencing, touching, tasting Jesus Christ as he is there. Peter is going to speak to us about Lesotho a bit. He's even going to bless us with something special. Thank you, Peter.
Hello, you guys. I'm Peter. So I just want to quickly just do this. Okay, so Lesotho 2022. So I want to start with a story on how I got to tell my mother I'm going to Lesotho. It was an interesting one. She literally looked me in my face and asked me, "Are you really serious?" Because those of you who knows me knows that it's not the normal place that I would go for on a vacation. But you know what? We did it. No, but that all jokes aside, Lesotho was one of the best experiences I have ever had in my entire life. We got to meet people that really don't have anything, and they are so grateful. They are literally praying with us and playing with us and everything. And compared to what I have in my home and what the majority of us have in our home, like normal stuff like running water, a toilet, they don't have that kind of stuff. The toilet's a very sensitive topic, guys. Yes. But there was only a long drop, and you did not want to see my face using it. It was not nice. But I've really experienced. It was a life-changing experience, and it put me out of my comfort zone. And I think that is very, very necessary in order to get you to know yourself better. Like I did stuff that I never thought I would do in my entire life, like washing myself with wet wipes. You get used to it. It's very soothing then. It's not bad. But I want to share a story with you, and it's actually quite special to me. The second day of our outreach, we went to visit houses, like house visits and stuff, and we would walk to the community and just say hi to the people and pray for them. And literally the first house that we walked in was a woman that had a stroke, and she couldn't speak. She was verbally impaired, is probably I don't know what you call it, but she couldn't speak. And she cried a lot because I think when something that you always had is taken away from you, I think that is the worst feeling in the world. And her husband sort of had to talk on her behalf, but all she can really say is pray for me and pray for my children. That's all she said. And her Bible was open in the Sesotho version of Proverbs, and it was really so beautiful. And what was beautiful in that household, the people didn't pray for money or for anything or food or for literally, like I would pray for food, like honestly, because it's your livelihood. And they just told us, pray for my wife that is sick, pray for my children. Like that is where they are. And it was an experience. And we walked to a lot of places. And for those of you who knows me, I don't look like this just walking like everywhere. You see, it was sort of a mission, but I made a promise to my friends that I'm not going to complain. So my head was very, very, very busy complaining, but I didn't verbalize it, which is probably good. And I wrote a song about Lesotho, and it's really quite special to me, and I'm going to share it with you guys now. But you will hear in the song there's a reference to Psalm 91. And when I got to Lesotho, I didn't realize what type of feeling I am feeling at this stage. Like it's a sort of calmness, and just like even though you're using a long drop and there's no running water, you're just like, it's okay, it's fine. And I remember the only place I ever felt that way, and this is a very special verse in the Bible for me, is when me and my sister were very scared of the dark. We fought a lot, but the moment when it gets dark, we're best friends, and we start to cry together. And my mom got fed up with us, reasonably so, like we were a lot to handle, and she would read us Psalm 91. And my sister at that stage couldn't read, but she tried very hard to do so. And I remember one night, like my sister's about 5 years older than I am, and she opened a Bible. She had this Jean Bible that she opened, and with her finger she read through the words, and basically what it says is that there might be 10,000 on one side and 1,000 on the other, and you will not be harmed. And I remember it's that sense of calmness and feeling that you can just slide over and sleep, because my sister told me that nothing will happen to me. And that is literally the feeling I got visiting Lesotho. I would really recommend it to do it next year and the year after that if you can. It's really it's really special and it's life-changing, and you will forever remember that. So if you can give me the opportunity, I wrote a song about Lesotho, and I think that is going to explain the majority of it. I wish I can see you, Lord. I wish I can feel your hand in mine, Lord. I wish I can see your footsteps next to mine, Lord. And I wish I can see you when you smile at me, Lord. And I wish I can see you when you cry with me, Lord. You say your presence will go with me and give me rest. Your presence will go with me and give me rest. 10,000 on one side and 1,000 on the other. My brother, you won't be harmed. 10,000 on one side and 1,000 on the other. My brother, you won't be harmed. And now I see you in the sunrise, I see you in the moon, I see you in the fields, in the flowers that bloom. I see you in the sunrise, I see you in the moon, I see you in the fields, in the flowers that bloom. I see you in the woman that cry every day, and I see you in her husband that prays anyway. I see you in the children that laugh and play, and I see you in the man that is broken inside, and I see you in the woman that stays by his side. Your presence surrounds me, Lord. You say your presence will go with me and give me rest. Your presence will go with me, give me rest. 10,000 on one side and 1,000 on the other. My brother, you won't be harmed.
So I think a theme that came through quite strongly in Peter's song was seeing God, and where we see God in the various spaces that we experience Him, and specifically where he saw God in his own journey throughout Lesotho. So if you've got a Bible at hand, we can read together Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 to 17. And thank you, Edward. It reads as follows. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of people in their deceitful scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of Him who is the head, that is Christ. The work of the church, the work of the people, the work of the community. There's various ideas, motivations, arguments that you will experience throughout your life as to why we should participate therein, as to why we shouldn't just attend church on a Sunday morning and when Monday comes, go through the rest of our life, as to why we should make certain sacrifices, as to why we should put aside our time, our effort, our energy to participate in this thing we call the work of the church, this thing we call the body of Christ. Some of them are wrong, as simple as that. I personally believe those that play into our sense of guilt, those that play into a sense of compulsion, it's a must, are wrong. Some of them are right. And I think there's one singular reason, motivation as to why we have the privilege of participating in the work of the church. That's more beautiful than any other. And it's something that we heard in the song that Peter just sang. When we go there, wherever they may be, when we get our hands dirty, when we participate, we see Christ. In our own actions and our deeds, we make the body much more visible to the world around us. It's easy, friends. It's very easy. Yeah, it is very easy. It's as simple as that. It's very easy. We just and that's why I start with the imagination exercise. I think when we constantly, time after time, remind ourselves of the experience we ourselves have had of who and what God is, the ways in which His love has touched our hearts, shifted and changed something of our being. We want to taste, touch, see that more. We want to fill our own lives with that even more. And when we find these various places that we do that, we have the added benefit of giving others the opportunity to maybe see, taste, touch, experience something of Christ. The letter to Ephesians was written to a community in Ephesus. Most probably a house church. A community of initially not more than 20. In a city filled with people who have never heard, never experienced, never tasted or touched the gospel of Jesus Christ. From those very, very small, humble beginnings, and a house church community filled with this utter conviction of love, a message spread out that overtook the world. We live in a world, in a city filled with churches, various of them, links, rechts, hier, daar, everywhere. I think what we lack, however, and I'm going out on a limb here, but I think what we really, really lack is truly convicted, loving, unconditional communities of Christ. All of us have experienced a church or space where the people have told us in so many words, if you do not fit into this box, if you do not say these things, if you do not do this, then you do not really belong with us. So I think in our own way, that's one of the things this community, I think, does exceptionally well. in our own way, even though we also may be a bit small. We are doing something different and something new. I think we encapsulate something of an unconditional acceptance. I mean, what other church would have continued with a message after someone just fainted? When they sang. Little joke aside, but most of you that have been here for a while, you know. And we know how needed that message is outside. So the people to follow are going to give some avenues, some ways in which this community of Kopanong tries to live out an unconditional acceptance and unconditional love in a world in which it is unfortunately sorely lacking. First one, still plans in the works, but some of you are acquainted with the old Africa experience. So that's changing this year a bit. We are looking at just going to Lusaka in Zambia and actually visiting various communities there. If you are interested in going, please come and speak with me or with Chris afterwards, and we will explain to you what the idea is, what the plans are. I think what you can keep in mind for that, what that is going to do is it's most probably going to expose you, it's definitely going to expose you to a radically different culture and environment. And what oftentimes happens when we enter into those type of spaces, we are confronted with aspects and facets about ourselves that we were unaware of previously. That be me, then I be done, then Franay is going to speak to us a bit about Helios and what makes Helios beautiful to her. And Elizabeth.
Yes, I brought my emotional support bestie because I was not prepared because someone only told me this afternoon.
Sorry, it was short notice. But I've got fullest faith in you.
Thanks. Okay, so I was thinking of what to say because there's so much I can say about Helios. Honestly, it's changed my life. But I thought I'll start with the story I always tell when a new member enters Helios, which is my first Helios meeting. I cried so bad. But I'm a person like I didn't cry ever before that. Ever. Never. You would never see a tear from my cheek. I got into that meeting. I sat down and this is how I looked the whole time. The whole time. Like we were doing a spiritual session and the girl actually was like, I'm sorry, are you okay? And I didn't have a tissue, so I just did this the whole time. And then they were like, we must make small groups and pray for each other. And I made a small group. And they said, okay, you can pray. And I went, Jesus. I just did that. And I didn't do anything else. So I knew I was comfortable there because at my first meeting, I think I lost like 4 kilos from just crying that night. And asked me today why I cried. I don't know why I cried. I just cried. But that's exactly what Helios is to me. It's a space where I feel so comfortable to be exactly who I am, to show every part of myself, dark, light, happy, sad. I can cry every Helios meeting and I'll never be labeled as the negative girl, which is so rare in life because people want to be around positivity, but you're not that always. So we also have fun. We don't just cry at Helios, and most of our crying is because of significance. I've formed so many core ideas about God and about myself and about life and people at Helios. My best friends who will all be at my wedding one day all come from Helios, and we do fun things like we do scavenger hunts and eat pizza and go to concerts together and stuff like that. But it's funny, don't feel sorry for me, but most of my family has shunned me, always did. So Helios became my friends, my family, my pact, if I can say it like that. And this year we've been really intentionally working on keeping that family space safe and constant. Obviously, our church has been going through a growth period and a period of change, but we want Helios to be constant and to keep growing and to really be a safe space for anyone and everyone. It's a safe space. It's a space of family, a place of knowing yourself, getting to know God, getting to know really, really cool people, and just a space of significance for me. And I hope that if anyone else wants to join Helios, that they find that too. It really has been somewhere I've felt God so significantly. So yeah.
And then I just thought I'd say a few things. I think if you're scared or nervous or apprehensive to join Helios, you might think sort of like, maybe I just should be in the background. And my first exposure to Helios was when I went on Kougom. And so that's coming up. So also please, sort of I want to say the in-reaches of the church are so valuable and so important, because it's something that we do with each other, and that's, I think, beautiful. And I knew as soon as I was at Kougom and I heard this band play, I knew I had to go audition. I remember what I was wearing when I auditioned. I still had my Sonado shirt on and like super naive walking in there. And I remember so vividly sitting in sort of my interview at Helios, and Machteli looked at me and sort of with this welcoming face, and she read me a piece where God sends Moses out, and Moses says, well, God, if you're not going, I'm not going. If you don't come with me, I'm not going anywhere. And that verse has stuck with me through so many of my big decisions going forward of, God, if you're not going, I'm not going to go. And one thing I can say with every confidence, every fiber of my being is God goes with Helios. And from a musical perspective, we've spoken so much about the people, but from a musical perspective, it's grown me in a sense that I didn't expect. If anyone plays classical instruments or even played when they were in primary school, high school, practice, 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 practice. And it can suck a lot of joy out of something that should be beautiful. And I must have spent over 10,000 hours practicing my violin. I had a love-hate relationship. It like stared at me in the corner. And when I started playing in Helios for the first time, it wasn't about me. It had nothing to do with how good or bad I sounded. It was about worship. And once you could worship and forget about the wrong notes and the harmonies or whatever and simply play. Ian said once when we went to Yzerfontein, he says, if you hit that sweet spot, if it all falls into place, it feels like it's raining diamonds. And I can't explain it any better. It's genuinely the closest I've ever felt to God is on the stage playing with Helios. The most frustrated I've ever been and the most free I've ever felt all in one has been on the stage with Helios. And again, if anyone wants to join, or if anyone looks at that and thinks, oh, I want to be a part of that, please speak to anyone on in the band. It's really a beautiful space of connection, and I think also of responsibility. I went through a stage where I played every single Sunday for probably like 3 months or 2 months in a row. And eventually, anyone who serves in the church knows that things start to feel like a job. And I remember going that Sunday and I thought, oh, I've got to play again. And I was exhausted. I had a test the Monday. It was really not in the most holy mindset. And I went on stage. We were still in the auditorium. And I really tried not to get in a mindset because I knew I can't force that. I tried to play well. And I tried to do my best so that someone else could at least get there. And that day, if anyone ever knew Fisai's Mana, they knew they could be your worst critic and your best friend. And 2 of them came to me and they were like, I got there today. And I realized that sometimes your job isn't to experience the light and just bathe in it. Your job is to lead someone to it. And Helios is actually, like, the word Helios means bringer of light in a roundabout way. But that's essentially what we try to be. And so if that is something that you feel is calling your heart, or if you just want to know more about it, again, please just come speak to any of us, and we'd love to share it with you.
I also just want to say, have you ever had a thought and then it goes out of your mind as you want to say it? I can't remember what I wanted to say. But anyway, just join Helios. Oh, what I wanted to say is, obviously, half of the church is already Helios. So if you have someone not in our church that wants to join Helios, please. Also, we have secretaries. So if you don't have a musical bone in your body, they help us to prepare food for like delicious meals we have. Carmi baked us the most amazing rolls. It was so good. And they help us with the slides, and like we do music events like the acoustic night, or we go and praise and worship for schools and stuff, and they help us with the logistics of that. So if you are more an admin type of person or a cook or something, you can also join. And it's just amazing. Like really, it's family. I've learned so much, and I continue to grow, and it feels like my safe space. So if you're in need of that, we are here. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, ladies, for the short notice. Okay, friends, time is starting to catch us, so I'm going to call a few names. On it, colleague. Cindy, Lisa, Christine, and finally Lunay can come to the front. In the order in which I said your names, you can share something. So Chris is going to share something with us about cycling tour and Echo. Afterwards, Cindy will speak about our congregation's various activities. Lisa will speak about the walking tour, stap tour. Christine will speak about Yzerfontein, and Lunay will finish up with Kougom and enthusiasm. Yes.
Right. So while I'm sitting there, I'm always kind of convicted by the deepness of the guys that's speaking about what they experienced. So like Carmi, you said it was the best experience, and then Peter came, it's the best experience, and those to this, they just stood here and it's the best experience, and I don't think sometimes I get a feeling like that sometimes people use church spaces as recruitment centers. And that irritates me because it's not what it is supposed to be, and it's not what it is in their hearts or in her heart or in his heart or whoever, spoke. And so what I want to just mention to you is like, Gerhard, with the link that you made, like the work of the church, the work of the people, is I see and I hear in the passion that they speak with, that they discovered a space where God is actually working and they can work with Him. And that's, I think, amazing. So to see how and hear how God works within the space of Helios that you embrace, that's cool to me. And in 10 days, and Lesotho, and all the others, and even those that we don't get time to talk on tonight. All right, so please don't hear it as a recruitment drive. It really is to show you and to invite you to come and see where God is already at work, because that's really what's happening. So we've got a little bit of a trouble translating trap tour. So because what's trap in Engels? Like step action, step tour. It doesn't work. Trap tour is a combination of cycling and of jogging, right, and walking. So that's cycling, jogging, and walking, right. And so I always tell people a cycle tour or trap tour is going nowhere slowly. It's really like that. So you jog through the Karoo, or you ride your bike down to PE or to Nysena. It's just amazing, and you drive and run in spaces where you will never set a foot there if you're not on this tour. And something of this discovery that you guys touched on about God already being present, God being at work. That's what I sense with Traptour. So we will somewhere make an announcement about Traptour. I don't know when exactly it'll going to take place, but it really is something special. Then Echo, so like you guys that know me know that I'm quite in love with Echo. And the reason is that I think that's the space where God called me very early in my ministry to see and experience something of God within all and in every space. So, something of the essence of Echo is for me encapsulated in its slogan. And Yaku, the guy that started it, always tells us the slogan of Echo is, don't tell someone Jesus loves them if you are not prepared to love them too. So it's really inviting you into a space to, not just speak these things, but to really try to discover that you should embody it wherever you go. So, always welcome to join Echo. We gather on a weekly basis, Wednesdays or Thursdays, so you are welcome.
Okay, hello hello everyone, I'm Cindy. I am going to talk about Love Team, Coin Team, and Coffee Team, and then I'm going to quickly mention Towers, just as well. Just to give you some information about me, I come from a APK Dominee Papa. So if you don't know what that is, it's a very old-fashioned church. Like girls can only wear the skirts, men stand up when we pray. So it's a really traditional church, and to me, I always knew like there's no space to grow. Like my highest title I can get in the church is women's group, yay, but never like an ouderling or anything like that. And it was kind of hard because I feel like I learn more or I put more effort into something when I can actually be a part of it. And that was always such a hard thing for me and my dad because we fought on that matter a lot. And then I came to Kopanong, and it was such a different experience. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, or anything. Like, you can even just come here to want to learn something, not even a big thing, just something. And it was such a welcoming experience. And I think, like, day one, I fell in love with this church. And then I heard, okay, no, like, if you want to be a part of something, just walk into a group. They really don't care. Like, just come. And then I was like, no, I want to be a part of this. I want to do my part. And I also love people. I get my energy from other people. So I was like, no, I want to be part of the Love Team and have this great big team where I can be with people all day. God Love Team was the only member. God looked at me and he laughed. He was like, your plans are not working. And then I had Love Team for like 6 months, and it was just there. I don't know what I was supposed to do with it. And it got heavy. Like, it got heavy because anyone that is in a church and that really does feel like, I don't just want to be a Sunday member. Like, it's weird to say, but we all are students or working people, so we don't actually have the time always. Like, let's be honest. Sometimes you have 3 hours off, next day you have none. So it's hard to commit to something. But I feel like the beauty about this group is because when I finally was like, no, I'm going to turn this into something. The Love Team became the birthday team. Now, all I have to do is like text 5 minutes and say happy birthday to these people. And it sounds so simple in a way, but it actually brings so much joy to people because no one wants to go like, hey, it's my birthday, remember that. But like, everyone wants to be remembered for their birthday. Like, we don't want to say we do, but everyone wants to have a happy birthday, And then also with the coming to a church and you're new and you don't know where to fit in or who to talk to because it's an awkward experience, it's also just a welcoming group to be like, hey, welcome to Kopanong. This is who we are. This is what we do. Get some coffee, So I love the Love Team for the value it has of just loving the people in it. And like Gerhard says, this is a small community. And if you know me, I don't know names. I take a solid 3 months to learn your name. But now I can at least say I know 80% of the people's name in this church, and that is a very good standard for me. So just again, like, if you want to be a part of something a bit more, but you don't always have the time, the Love Team, literally all we do sometimes is have one project a month where we do something small for the community just to spread love to the members and learn more about the members, about the people next to you. That is the Love Team. Then we have Coin Team. Lisa is Lisa and Elicity is part of the coin team. They collect the money. And it's a very nice job because all they have to count is 2 rands. It's quite easy. I'm just joking. No, but it's a student church. We know each other, guys. It's fine. But it's really also just something fun to do for the church. And it's like you're not doing anything that grand, but you're doing the things that matter. Like sometimes it's the small things, like the things that have to be done. And yeah, I think really if you you want to help, just please talk to Lisa. It's something fun to be with someone else and do these trivial things. And then the coffee team. If you know Kougom, the K stands for coffee. Okay, this is a coffee church. Like, there's a reason for the coffee team. And all that is just also to serve the members in the church. You know, to come on a Sunday an hour early before service, maybe an hour and a half, depending how dirty our dishes are, and just cleaning some of the copies, putting the coffee on the counter and getting it ready for the people around us. It's like one of those things that also just welcomes the people and be like, you know what, I'm going to get coffee just so I can stay a little bit later. You know, it's a fun thing. Or getting coffee now. Thank you to Setso for representing. And then Towers. Towers is a great, great experience. Like, Sabrand, I think, brought it up last year from the ground. I don't know if it was before that a thing, but I know Sabrand brought it up. And then Kami did an amazing job about taking it over this year. And Towers, you go to Towers of Hope some Fridays, and you either fold clothes that have been donated, or you give soup to the people on the streets. And I think in our day, it's really easy to get caught up in your own moment, be like, oh, why is my life so hard? Or things like that. It's easy to get self-centered in our day. And when you step on that ground, it's just like, wow. It's just really something to experience. So last thing, if you want to be a part of things but you don't always have the time, please come speak to these small groups. We really would appreciate any and all help. I'm proud to say the Love Group has doubled in size. Magriki, thank you. And yeah, that is my story.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm here to talk about Staptour, which is also the hiking tour. It's also difficult to translate. Thank you for bringing it up, Chris. Anyway, so Staptour, I wouldn't describe it as an outreach. I would describe it as an inreach. So on Staptour, you literally go hiking for like 2 or 3 days with your group. And if you've ever been on a hike, it gets hard, especially the second day. I'm looking at Mari now because last year was an experience. Gerhard, yes. So, Staptour is basically, this year we are planning on hiking in Golden Gate. There's still a few logistical things that need to be sorted out, but myself, Edward, and Cindy are on the committee so far. So Cindy is going to provide, she's going to be our course mama. She's going to give us lovely food. So yeah. But what I experienced on Staptour last year was incredible. It's a moment, it's a 3-day hike where you don't just experience other people and friends that you've known for a long time. You really get an in-depth experience of nature, and you get to learn a lot about yourself, especially on day 2, because then it's all the way down and all the way up and again down. Anyway, but I would really recommend Staptour for anyone who wants to. Not maybe big crowds aren't your thing, or you get really tired by being around a lot of people. Staptour is definitely then the inreach/outreach for you. And also there will be communication about Staptour in the weeks to come, but so far it's going to be in the October holiday. I'm so sorry, medical students. I know you guys have a week before that holiday, so I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, if it's on your heart that you want to be on the committee and come and help with the logistical stuff and, all that, you can just come and speak to us. Or if you just want to come hike with us, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, Gerhard and I, we sang a lot of songs. We walked a lot of miles together. Me, Marina, Gerhard, all the people that were on staff too last year. We had sore feet, we had blisters, we had heavy bags, but it was a fantastic experience. So yeah, definitely recommend. Okay.
Hallo, dankie tog. Okay, so I haven't been on Yzerfontein yet, but I'm doing it for the first time. It's a stranddienst. I don't even know the translation. I'm not going to try. But that sounds weird. So
Say it. Say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah.
Say beach service. Beach service.
Okay. But I heard a lot of stories about it. Okay, so basically we're going from the 13th to the 23rd of December. In the mornings you have poppenkast with the little kids, and if there's bigger kids, and then the evenings you play with them on the beach. Yeah. So I don't know if you like volleyball, touch rugby, French cricket. It's very nice. So we will be playing that sort of games, and then in the evenings, it's just like a sort of just chilling with the teenagers. So yeah, and just mind that it is like a Afrikaans community there, but everybody is welcome. So you can talk to me, Chris, Paulo, Natalia if they're here. Okay.
Hello, everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Lunay. So I am lucky to be the chairperson of Kougom for 22, 23, and we have a big committee, and we're so excited, and we hope you are too. So for those of you who knew Kougom, you'll know this is a lekker camp. This is where some people have made their best friends for life, their husbands, their wives, their church, their community, and that is what we aim to bring back. But we're bringing it back stronger than ever, because it's not only going to be a first year camp next year, it's going to be a student camp. So that means Kougom will be open for all students. We're aiming for undergraduate crowds, so we don't have a 42-year-old Wimmy that's doing his master's camping with the first years, like Vicky Dodgy. But anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a student camp. We will have a pre-camp that will be like what our family camp was like last year. Guys, such a nice experience. So that will be for the team. If you want to be a part of the team, please talk to me or Marinelle, or join the link for the WhatsApp group that we sent on the Bron group. We'll send it again tomorrow, so you'll remember. But sure, guys, be a part of this team. So the idea is to have a pre-camp for 2 days where we bond within each other and make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and what Kougom is going to be like, so that we don't have 100 students coming Monday and then we're all like, sorry, we don't know. Nee? So then our camp is going to be the welcome day, so everybody is coming to the camp. Then we'll have 2 full days, and then a goodbye day where they have breakfast and a reflection and then go home. And then the camp will continue for the team just to reflect and make sure everything is tied up neatly in a bow, so we leave the campsite like we had it. So our committee is working very hard. We already have a campsite. We're going to camp at Mooi Genoeg. We're aiming to have anything between 90 and 150 students come. And we need sponsors. So if you know of someone we can get to for sponsors, please send that info to Cindy. She will be handling that for us. So we're going to have nice spiritual sessions. Our theme for the camp is Igniting the Future. So we're going to focus on the idea of extinguishing the little match, the little flame of what you thought your future could be like. Then making room and preparing yourself to finally build the fire that will be more like a bonfire of what God has planned for you. Because your future is bright, your future is going to be incredible, and it will be full of light and love and community. So we really want to create that safe space. We'll have the spiritual sessions. We will have worship with Helios, which is going to be incredible. Like your guys, you'll know that's a highlight on the camp always. Then we'll have fun activities. We're going to have like a water sport day, and yo guys, it's really just going to be a lekker time, and we really need you guys to be a part of this, to make this possible. Tell your friends, tell everyone you know, and please join our team. I can tell you guys, last year the family camp, that's kind of what a pre-camp would be like for us. Sorry, first semester. That was really one of my best experiences in this church. I made friendships. I remember Faf, Yanda, Marinelle and I sitting in the kitchen at 2 a.m. eating pink Rice Krispies and singing Disney songs and making just the best memories and friendships. And that's what we want for the team. We want you to get to meet new people and just enjoy the experience, because Kougom really creates families. It creates really a nice community, especially after COVID. We've seen on campus, there's so many students who haven't found that community outside of their year groups or only the people that they study with. We want to create those opportunities, get to know people, and figure out a way to love God within a community, even leaving school, because this is a challenging phase of our lives, but it's so exciting, and walking towards the future behind God and doing what He wants you to do. So yeah, that's the idea of Kougom. Did I forget something? That's it. Okay, so please, if you want to join the link on the WhatsApp group. Speak to Marinelle, Hubert, Cindy, Marinelle, Carmi, Elrich, Nielbert. You can speak to basically anyone. Marlo, they're at the back. Like, sure, people. There's a lot of people you can speak to. Just find someone who looks like they know what they're doing, and then ask them. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, Lunay. So one space we forgot about is the office space during the week. So where is the... I'm going to take a risk now. I'm calling you something. Can all my kantoor katte raise your hands? No, if we're witnessing a bit about the various spaces in which we as a community try and live and express something of God's grace and God's love, I think one very important space is the office throughout the week. Those that have been there, Edward, you are also a kantoorkat, so I don't know why. Not mine. So that's also a very beautiful space. I think those that have been there can attest to the depth of the relationships that are fostered there. And I think at the end of the day, before anything else, that's what we as Kopanong try to do. Live true, faithful, graceful relationships towards one another. And everything you heard this evening are only the various spaces where those happen in our community. If you resonate with one of them, please feel free to sparkle in. But even further, I think my prayer and my hope for you this evening is that something of this conversation opened up a desire in your heart for a space like that. If it's in this community, if it's in another community, if it's your own secret space, where you experience, taste, touch something of who and what God is. Amen. May God bless you with the capacity and the willingness to see, experience, taste, and touch Him wherever He may be. Amen.